Hi, welcome. I'm Gnobo Brice Calypso. Please call me Brice or call me Gnobo. I'm a master mystical numerologist by title only, so that others can be able to associate what I do in life. Not that I carry the title as something lofty, it's just this is what I do. This is to tell you a little bit about mystical numerology, to give an understanding of why I do what I do. The mystical numerology is actually a numerology that was worked with the pyramids in Egypt, the measurements of the pyramids. I use the term mystical numerology because mystical means a closer relationship and understanding with the God, creative force, creative source, and numerology stands as its own, as a craft or a science. But it really should be called star numerology. Mystical, I like using the term because it says I'm still looking for answers. Because with mysticism, it's not a closed system. It's always open, always to search, always to look. So that's why I use mystical numerology, because it's basically saying this is not numerology. I have not stopped in my research, my examination, my studies of this. So I use mystical to say that it's an ongoing relationship to have understanding with the creative source. So I want to tell you a little bit about why mystical numerology. The main reason why I follow this path is because I believe in all of us living in our full positive potential. Today I had met with a friend and client of mine, and he said to me, okay, so what's the rubber to the road? What is the rubber to the road about your craft, and how can it benefit me? And so I guess the rubber to the road, as I told him, is that we should really live within our full positive potential, what resonates with us the most. And through the interpretation of mystical numerology, I'm able to interpret this for myself and for others. And when we start living our lives with what resonates with our blueprint, with our fingerprint, with our sonata, then we are actually resonating with the energy around us. But if we're living a life according to the dictates, wants, and expectations in this society that has a lot of hindrances, a lot of self-preoccupations, and there's a lot of bamboozlement going on, we're not living in our full potential, and we're not completing our path. So I do this work to help others live in their, myself and others live in their full potential. And I've done it for many, many years, and the people that I do work with, 9 times out of 10, they put the rubber to the road, and they go out and live in their full positive potential, and life moves as it's supposed to for them. It's not such a struggle, not so much strife. It's easier because they are living from their inner light that's being shined. So I want to give you a brief, hopefully synopsis of what I feel. It's my interpretation of mystical numerology, which I do believe should be called star numerology. So first of all, I'm interpreting patterns, which are considered the numbers, but it's really important to understand that all numbers have an equal note and an equal color. So it's a note and a color that's vibrating that I'm able to interpret through the symbolism of numbers, which has a corresponding letter to it. This creates an individual blueprint in people, living things, and places of location on the earth. So I'm interpreting a sonata. I'm interpreting this music. So the way that I work with mystical numerology is it must follow the principles in nature and the principles of the cosmos. So we need to go a little bit deeper. How I'm able to read the numbers is based on information from the stars. Not that I'm an alien and that here I am in human form wrestling with myself because I should be in this star system. It's nothing like that at all. Everything on this planet comes from the stars. Everything. Everything is from the stars. It's from the elements and the carbon in the stars. Everything. So therefore, everything moves with the principles of the stars. In mystical numerology, it works with the interpretation from what's called the electromagnetic spectrum of colors that comes out of our star, which is the sun. And this is very important to remember, that the energies that we feel pouring through our body, which is called a light body, and then it's encased in this organic body, comes from the energy and the wavelengths and the frequencies sent through the sun, through what today is called the electromagnetic spectrum of colors. And these colors range from deep red all the way up to indigo, like the colors of the rainbow. But there's more. So these colors stream through us, but it's not just our star, the sun. It's also the nebulae that's around us, like the Helix in Aquarius, and also Orion in the Milky Way, and other nebulae that the energy from this joins with these colors from the sun, and then they pour through our body. A little different from astrology, because astrology is topical, and that means that is from our viewpoint on the planet looking out. So when we look out at these constellations, we see like the Sagittarius constellation, but actually if we were up in the constellation, we would never see this, because these stars are so far away from each other, thousands and thousands of light years away. So topical means that astrology is based on what we see as an observation, Western, from this earth out. This craft, mystical numerology, interprets the energy that comes from the stars. And remember, everything on this planet does come from the stars. Everything is made of stardust. Our bodies are made from a lot of the elements that are emitted from the stars. Zinc, sodium, potassium, iron, etc., etc., etc. And that encompasses all living things. So the way that I understand it through my research is that I'm able to interpret through the symbolism of numbers the colors or notes that are pouring through people, coming from our main star, which is the sun, enhanced or integrated by the nebulae around us. Our life follows a lot of the principles from the star systems. Like there's a triad to everything within the stars. Everything is based on light, color, and motion, and that we too are based upon this. The thing about the star, though, is that they're self-propagating. And in ancient Egypt, their main highest god was Kempera. And Kempera, the reason why they use Kempera is because it's the dung beetle. And the dung beetle self-propagated, and it rolls its dung up into a little ball, and creates itself from that little orb, from that monad, from that globe. When we look at stars, every star is self-propagating. It pulls in energy and matter from the parent stars around itself, and it creates through the nebulae itself into a star if it gets if it fully develops into the star. So the ancient Egyptians somehow knew this principle. I don't know how, but they knew it. And we can always think about the star ancestors that were in communication at that time, but my work doesn't, with other people, doesn't go there. It is a belief system that I have, however. So when we look at a lot of these principles in the universe and the star that are pouring through the nature of this planet, it also pours through this work. And that's where I look for the balance. So just to backstep is that my mystical numerology should be considered star because the energy is being interpreted through the electromagnetic spectrum of colors. And it pours through human beings, and it all depends on wavelength, frequency, luminosity. It depends on a lot that I'm able to read through these numbers. So therefore, my work is it's skilled, it's gifted, and it's intuitive. But it's taken many, many, many years to work with this. So to leave this segment, the mystical numerology is based upon the energy coming from our main star, and that's the sun, based upon the electromagnetic spectrum of colors. And it is based on the nebulae surrounding us and all these combined energy and combined wavelengths. I'm not a physicist or an astronomer, so I can't get that deep into it for you because it would detract from my work, but it is a worthwhile study. But through our sciences, everything has to be observable through the eye and measured. And I don't believe that everything can, or everything's at that point right now, so I don't take it that far with other people. I do in my own studies. So the main reason is to put the rubber to the road, is to help you live in your fullest potential that vibrates with you at this time during your sojourn on this planet. Because we do come here to do certain things. And I like to see people fulfill them and help them step outside the herd just for a little bit to understand what truly resonates with the individual. So that the individual can be self-propagating, so self-generating, and take what's inside and bring it out, like a star does, letting this light emit, the emission of light. And this is very important. So the rubber to the road is to help all others live in their full positive potential within this continuum and this society. Thanks for joining me.